So hi, my name is Helena, and today we're going to be discussing the Treaty of the Nanking. First off, I will be talking to the Chinese ambassador. First question, what is the Treaty of the Nanking?
The Nanking Treaty is what the British ambassador and I created that ended the Opium War. The Opium War lasted 3 years before we came to a peace treaty. Sadly, close to 2 decades later, another opium battle started with a weaker China. Unfortunately, I lost that too.
Well, that's a shame. How did the Opium War end, and how did it contribute to the downfall of your country?
The Opium War ended with a peace treaty between me and Britain, and it was a massive downfall. We've lost so much, so many people, and so many firepower. But the Second War was even worse. We only had a few thousand people left. They had way more than 10 times the people than us.
I think you're winning a losing battle right here. Do you think the payout was fair since the Chinese just lost the war?
I did not think the payout was fair because if the English would have not rained war on us, we wouldn't be in this position and wouldn't have had to sink the opium, so no. Yes, we did lose the war with Britain, but we did not start the war. The treaty was unequal with China. The treaty was unequal. China was against a strong imperialist power who wanted to change the way we trade. So Britain started a war because they were unhappy with our government rules about trades. This money was reparations, but Britain were the aggressors.
Do you think you are responsible for the war? And do you think do you think it is your fault to put your country in this position?
I believe it is Britain's fault. His men killed one of my villagers and tried to force me into trading with him. That's what started the whole war. If he didn't do any of that, we wouldn't be in this position and I wouldn't have to sink the opium.
How has the Opium War affected your people?
The Opium Wars have been the beginning of the undesired influence of foreigners and their trade in China. The opium from India created millions of addicts, useless and desperate people crowd dirty drug dens and seek for more illegal drugs.
So right now I'm going to interview the English ambassador. Why do you think the treaty was needed at the end of the war?
I think the treaty was needed to give us something after the war we won, and was needed to make peace between both us and China. This treaty also opened up so much trade between our countries, which I feel like was beneficial for the both of us. And the treaty also freed all the prisoners from the war, from both China and Britain.
Do you think the payout was fair since the Chinese just lost the war?
Yes, I believe it was more than fair, especially because we won the war. A bit of their territory was fair enough after the war. We could have taken more if we wanted, but we didn't. And overall, I think us holding some of their territory helped them as well and increased their trade.
Do you think you are responsible for the war? And do you think it's your fault that you put your country in this position?
I believe we started the war, but I also believe that China is the reason the war happened. All we tried to do is trade with the Chinese, and they disrespected us. We decided to trade opium in their country under their radar, and the Chinese, instead of asking us to stop, they fueled the war.
How has the Opium War affected your country and the people?
The Opium War overall benefited our country. We went to China trying to open up trade to help both of us, and they refused and thought little of us. They thought they were better than us, so we decided to start trading to their country without them. It eventually turned into a war which we came out on top and ultimately got what we wanted, even after China's stubbornness.
Well, there you hear it, folks. Thank you for listening.